Morning, Scott in Colorado here. I thought I'd share a story with you. This occurred in the winter of 73, 74. I think it was actually spring. It was probably spring of 1974. I was in LDS mission in serving in the Belfast, Ireland mission, which covered both countries, both the country in the north, Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, and the country in the south, which is Erie, E-I-R-E is the name of the country, or the Republic of Ireland. They won their independence from the British in 1921. Anyways, this is Vietnam era. The Troubles were going on. That's the name of the war, the Troubles that were happening in Ireland. Look it up. It's very interesting. Most of the world was pretty much unaware of what was going on. It made the paper once in a while in Ireland, in the U.S. Anyways, we're walking down the street. We had just walked past a Irish Army military fort. And so there's military personnel walking around. They're in camouflage and so forth. This is a war-torn country at that time. We had walked past the front gates and on a very narrow street, which was lined with granite walls on both sides. Most people were, almost everyone was walking because few people could afford cars. Ireland was a very poor country at this time. Hadn't really noticed a person walking. There were probably 50, 60 people within sight walking on the sidewalks on both sides of the road. And one of the guys I noticed coming towards us was a young lad, about 19, 18 years old. And he saw us, and I saw him, and I looked at my companion, my partner that was with me. I said, "Oh boy, here we go." And he says, "What?" And I said, "Oh, it's so-and-so across the street." He goes, "Oh no." We'd had dealings with this gang member on a regular basis about once a month. He was a member of the Boot Boys gang. There's Boot Boys and skinheads back then in Ireland, in the big cities. And they pretty much ruled the streets and did what they wanted. They would rob you if they felt like doing so. Anyways, I'd pretty much dealt with the problem, and he would no longer approach us from across the street anymore. Anyways, he saw us, and at the top of his lungs, he yells at us, "Effing Mormons!" Of course, he used the expletive. At this point, I'd kind of been unaware of a guy in front of us, about 10, 12 feet in front of us. He was in full camos, fatigues, and he had a beret on his head. It looked like a drill instructor. It certainly was a bodybuilder. And he turned his head. He didn't have a head. Well, he didn't have a neck. He turned his head and didn't really have a neck. He had like a gun turret. He had huge arms, about the size of my thighs. He runs across the street, which only took about 12 steps, and grabs hold of this kid, lifts him up by the shirt, and starts slamming his head against the wall. And about the third hit, the kid's eyes are going at the top of his head as he's being knocked unconscious. And I see blood spattering on the granite wall. And the soldier says, "I'll teach ye to call me an effing moron." He dropped the kid, and he just fell in a heap unconscious and just walked off. Nobody paid much attention. And that's the way Ireland was back then. You know, I never saw that kid again, ever. I was in that area for 8 months. Never saw him again. He could be dead, I don't know. That's the story.